powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. Firefighters in California battling around the clock to try to contain at least 17 major wildfires raging in that state.
At least 17 people have been killed and about 2,000 homes and businesses destroyed, mostly in the northern part of the state.
Danielle Nottingham brings us the latest from Santa Rosa, California, where some residents are returning to utter devastation.
Smoke and flames burned through structures in Northern California's wine country into the night as fire officials updated the public on efforts to stop the flames from spreading.
We're here to help. We're here to do the best we can to stop this fire, to prevent any other loss.
Across the region, stunned residents like Dale Reinhardt are taking stock of the devastation around them.
I just bought $420 worth of clothes on sale. And all my clothes are gone.
The wildfires, fanned by 70-mile-per-hour winds, consumed the trailer park where he once lived.
These tanks are all full of Sauvignon Blanc.
Numerous wineries, like the Paradise Ridge Winery in Sonoma County, also went up in flames.
A lot of people lost their house and lost everything, so I think we can rebuild this.
Fire officials hope improved weather conditions will help them contain some of these fires. In the meantime, crews are in neighborhoods putting out hot spots and trying to protect the homes that are still standing.
This is nowhere near over. It is still very dangerous.
Aside from fighting the fires, the Sonoma County Sheriff says search teams, including members of the California National Guard, have already begun scouring burned and evacuated areas to find hundreds of people still unaccounted for.
We have a team of 30 people just working on missing people. That team of 30 found 110 people safely today.
Calmer winds and higher humidity have helped firefighters further south, battling the wildfire burning in the Anaheim Hills. But like others in the state, it's still far from contained. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Santa Rosa, California.
Just 1 week into retirement, some Missoula-based firefighting tanker planes are now on their way to help fight those fires in California.
Neptune Aviation, based in Missoula, says its Tanker 7 and Tanker 14 aircrafts are now being reactivated to help out in the California firefight. This has already been an incredibly busy fire season for Neptune's next-gen jet tankers, which have been the workhorses of the company's fleet for the past 25 years. In fact, just last week, the company held a retirement celebration for its prop-driven P2 tankers.
As thousands of acres burn in what many call the worst firestorm in recent California history, the Missoula-based aircraft are off to wine country.
A woman was found dead in her West End Billings home today. The woman in her 50s apparently died over the weekend in a house fire on the 3500 block of Lynn Avenue. While police are still investigating, they've noted that fire likely extinguished on its own, possibly from a lack of oxygen. The woman failed to show up to a weekly breakfast with friends on Sunday morning. Police were called to perform a welfare check, and that's when the woman's body was found. As yet, the woman has not been identified. Authorities say that foul play, though, is not suspected. Billings Deputy Fire Marshal Jeff McCullough reports the fire caused $75,000 in damage, including heavy smoke damage throughout the home. 3 cats also died in the blaze.
A former employee of the Boys and Girls Club of Yellowstone County stands accused of exposing himself to a teenage boy that he met at the club. 22-year-old Matthew Huggard appeared in Justice Court today, charged with 1 count of felony indecent exposure. The 13-year-old boy told Billings police he had known Huggard for about 1.5 years. Court documents state the boy began receiving counseling for depression from Huggard's father at the therapist's home. That's where Huggard would play Xbox with the boy, wrestle, and play sports. The boy reported Huggard recently exposed himself to him and made inappropriate sexual comments. Huggard was fired from the club for violating policies regarding visitation with club members and gift giving. He is not in police custody tonight.
Yellowstone County District Court Judge Russell Fag heard his last case today before hanging up his robe on Friday.
The longtime justice has expressed interest in a political future. Q2's Asia Gore sat down with the judge today to find out what's next.
Reflecting on his 22 years of work, Judge Russell Fag estimates he's presided over 25,000 cases, but one stands out in his memory. The year, 1996, the defendant, 17-year-old Gino Gonzalez.
He killed a Quickway clerk, and it was all recorded, and he had already gotten the money. All he had to do was leave, and you see him pull the trigger, and the safety's on. So then you see him flip the safety and pull the trigger and shoot the Quickway clerk for absolutely no reason. I sentenced him to life in prison, and it was one of the hardest things, if not the hardest thing I've ever done.
The Gonzalez case was one of the first major crimes to come through Fag's courtroom, but it certainly wasn't the last. Fag says he's had a passion for serving justice as long as he can remember.
I was a middle child, and I was sort of the one that settled disputes, it seemed like, within our family, and it just seemed like a natural progression. I like being a lawyer, but when I saw a judge who, frankly, I didn't think was doing that good of a job, and I was just a very young man, but I thought, I'm going to give it a shot.
Since he won that race, Fag says he's fought to uphold the law and do right by the people of Yellowstone County. But now he may be eyeing the Senate race.
I think I'm in a really unique place to know how to model policy to move our country in a better direction. And second, I really feel like I'm a negotiator. I'm trying to look for a win-win situation. I like to work with people from different backgrounds. I think I'd be able to work with both parties.
As a Republican, Fag says he'd push to lower the nation's debt and, with Montana in mind, push for alternatives to prison for drug users. As he hangs up his robe, Fag says he may be done on the bench, but he hopes he's not done serving Montanans. In Billings, I'm Asia Gore, MTN News.
And Fag says he plans to open his own law firm.
And stay tuned, he will reveal the results of his exploratory committee this Saturday here in Billings.
The state of Montana is set to collect taxes on nearly $19 million in annual medical marijuana sales. That estimate just out today adds up to hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax revenue.
Q2's Dustin Kleeman spoke with the Department of Revenue about the expected financial impact to the state.
Medical marijuana is making money for the state as providers begin submitting a 4% gross sales tax. The Department of Revenue expects the state will collect $750,000 in the first year of SB 333. Due to administrative and startup costs to the new bill, the general fund will only see a fraction of that money.
After you factor in the startup costs for the systems for both departments, you're down to only about $30,000 net impact to the general fund.
Those costs include computer systems, cash intake locations, seed-to-sale tracking, ID cards, just to name a few. And there are also administrative costs in the Department of Health and Human Services. The second year of the tax, which will be lowered to only 2%, it will generate a net for the state of $300,000 for the general fund.
Our state budget is hurting unless we start generating some additional revenues, and so this is an opportunity to do that.
While it's a drop in the bucket for the state, it's still a source of revenue that could grow.
And Dustin joining us now. So break down those numbers for us. How many patients actually contribute to that large number?
About 12,000 patients, and you can take a look at some of those numbers too. To put it in perspective, each patient spends roughly $1,500 per year on medical marijuana. It also should be noted, Jay and Jeanelle, that this fiscal impact is still a moving target. Of the 600 registered providers across the state, the Department of Revenue has only received about 46 returns, close to 50, before the October 15th deadline. So it remains unclear how many providers operate within Billings and Yellowstone County. That we might not even know depending on federal laws when it comes to taxes.
All right. Thanks so much, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin. Well, incredibly sad news tonight. This after a fatal avalanche that occurred this past Saturday.
The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office identifies the woman who died in this slide as 23-year-old Igna Perkins. She was skiing with her boyfriend, 27-year-old Hayden Kennedy, in the southern Madison Range when the two of them were hit by the slide. Perkins was buried by the avalanche while Kennedy was partially buried and was able to hike out and get help.
Today we learned through a statement from Kennedy's family that he was so overcome with grief over the loss of Perkins that he took his own life. Kennedy was a native of Colorado. He was well known for his climbing expeditions.
And turning to weather, Bob, I don't even want to think about winter, but we are already looking at frost dates.
Well, and that was something that was kind of interesting. It was just last Wednesday, October 4th, we dipped to 29 degrees above zero for the first time. We had that frost. It got us wondering, well, when is our average first frost? When do we usually get that? Well, here are the numbers, and we found out the earliest first frost was August 24th. The average first frost is September 24th, so actually a little bit behind. The earliest hard freeze is September 11th, and the average first freeze is October 4th. Now, we did have a frost, not a hard freeze. Now, what about snowfall? Well, yeah, the average first snowfall here in Billings is October 19th. We're coming up on that date. But the latest first snow, that was January 6th. I'm probably wondering if we were ever going to get snow then. That was in 1944. Our forecast does not have too much snow in it, but we'll chat about that coming up here in just a few more minutes. Stay with us. We'll be back.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news. Shocking tapes released in the case against Hollywood movie producer Harvey Weinstein. That story in a moment.
Plus later, would you be willing to go on vacation without knowing anything about it?
And Scott hits the bowling lanes tonight with Q2's Athlete of the Week. Wait till you hear how many perfect games he has rolled.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.